What's up, YouTube? Well, here I am. I'm working on the diesel heater still. Here's the scoop, guys. The diesel heater works awesome. And this one happens to be, let's see, the 5. So this is the 8 kW. It has 2 outlets instead of 1. It's slightly bigger in size. Thing kicks on, puts out a tremendous amount of heat, brings the bus up to temperature, kicks down, and all you can hear then is just the tick, tick, tick of the fuel pump. I mean, it works really, really well. The problem is, we built the bus. We had heard so much about the floor and the buses always being cold. We put 3 inches of rigid foam in here. So when I put the diesel heater in, I had to go down through the subfloor and through the 3 inches of foam and then out through the metal on the bottom. I did that with a 3-inch hole saw thinking I'd give myself plenty of clearance. And hooked everything up, ran the diesel heater. I went down there and looked, and the pink foam in the floor had actually been melted and shrunk back a little bit. So I took a hole saw and I cut a series of holes around it and sawed the foam out and pushed it back, and I thought, well, there, I gave it more air clearance, that'll do it. A couple days later I looked again, same scenario, it had still melted the foam again, so that pocket that was created because the floor is so thick was holding the heat. I went and got some of that muffler wrap and I wrapped the exhaust pipe in it, and I went down there with the laser tester thing today, and I mean, that thing is still hotter than hell, even on the fiberglass wrap. So I think the easiest solution is to increase my opening down here and allow it to have a bigger air gap all the way around it so the air can circulate and cool itself. I also got offered up this thin ceramic heat shield insulation that I could use. So I might use that in combination, but I can tell you this, it's getting the plywood or the flake board, the subflooring, it's getting it pretty hot, and I'm not comfortable with it. So I'm gonna increase the size of the opening, put a piece of sheet metal on it, and then put it down through that. So here's the diesel heater uninstalled, which not that big of a deal, but there's the fiberglass wrap that I put on the exhaust pipe trying to solve the problem, and then I left it unwrapped until it went out the side of the bus, thinking I didn't want to transfer all that heat and burn the side of the bus that it was still so hot coming out there. A friend at the hardware store gave me a sample of this ceramic insulation to put in front of the foam to protect it. So I think I'm going to do the combination. I'm going to open the hole, push the foam back, push the wood back, and then put this around that opening possibly, and then I should be safe. Okay guys, so here's the existing opening. I thought by cutting these as 3-inch holes instead of the smaller size, I really wouldn't have this problem. And like I said, I've been down there and pushed this back twice, but you can still see that foam right there is melted and pulled back a little bit last night. So it's still getting too hot. Anyhow, I'm gonna open this hole up and make more clearance. Go from there. Time for some shaky tool. Okay guys, now it's easy to see. So you can see I just picked this piece up out of there, and if you look on the edge here, this is after I pushed it back a couple of times. It was pushed back to here. It still was melting it there, and there's another spot where it was starting to melt. Okay guys, here's what I ended up doing with this hole once I got it cut. I got this cut, and when I was at the hardware store, my friend there at the hardware store suggested putting this ceramic shield around the opening. So I've been putting this in there and then folding it over on the top. And So then this flashing is insulated from the wood and everything. So if this gets hot, the floor won't get hot no more because it's up on top of this stuff. I think this should solve the problem. And then this big metal plate goes over top of everything, and then the diesel heater goes on there. So I think that that will solve my problem. Okay guys, here's the diesel heater now after I fixed that opening. So I've got that all opened up. You can see I got the flashing coming down here, and behind the flashing is that ceramic insulation. The diesel heater itself is mounted out on that plate, which also has the ceramic insulation under the lip up there. And then I got the fiberglass wrap on the exhaust pipe, and the exhaust pipe out the side there. There's your fuel pump. Put a little stick guard underneath the fuel line so it wouldn't get whacked if we went through some brush. I'm just about ready to fire this up and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So keep your fingers crossed for me. We're gonna finish this diesel heater video. Yeah, because it's been a process, people.
An ongoing.
So, yeah, let me bring you fully up to speed on it. First off, to make clear for everybody, we got the 8 kW, not the 5 kW unit. Then we installed it, and I had multiple times where it was melting the foam around the hole that it went down through. The other thing that I'm not sure people are also aware of is these things, the pipe, that thing gets hot. So this one will be coming back up here in a second. I just turned it on before we started.
I don't think you guys can see the screen. There you go.
The point that I want to make is these ducts, at first I had them right down on the floor, and well, Shelley didn't want them there because of cleaning and aesthetics, but in retrospect, you want airspace around those ducts, because this part here gets 165 degrees hot on this one when it's up to full power. And these outlets out here, these plastic outlets, we're measuring them with this laser shooter thing. When that's running full tilt, those are 165 degrees, so that's really warm. We know that the flashing is working now because when it's been up to temperature and we test it, like out here, it's staying below 85 degrees.
So right now you guys can hear it kicking on.
Yeah, so, and I think some people have told a little bit about this, but what this thing does is it comes on and it blows on high, and it raises you up to the set temperature. Like there, it just kicked on the high. So you'll see these pipes. Okay, that one's 93 degrees right there right now. That one's already 105. But in just a few minutes here, they're going to get pretty warm. So the other things that we did is I recognized that just the reflected heat, or whatever you want to call them, off these ducts would heat this whole chamber up. So we added more ventilation on the back end of that. So Shelley can show you that.
Yeah, he went and drilled happy back there.
Well, you can't see it,
but yeah, it's back behind the cupboard, so you really don't see it, but it's drawing in a lot of fresh air.
Okay, so this has just been running that little bit. Let's see now where we're at. That's already up to 120. This is now 140. So they are going to go clear up to 165. I've done it through multiple cycles, and that ducting and the outlets gets up to 165 to 170 degrees. The pipes going out the bottom, the exhaust pipe that I had wrapped with fiberglass, that was no moss, which it makes no sense to me because I went down there with this laser measure. I measured the pipe and then I measured the fiberglass right beside each other. It was hotter on the outside where the fiberglass wrap was. So I took that back off. So now out the bottom I've just got the factory stock exhaust pipe and everything like it was, but within this flashing.
So you can hear it hopefully starting to kick down. So that means it's hit its set temperature and now it's just going down to holding.
Yeah, so because it was already warm in here, but you can see these ducts got up to 150 before it turned down. That one's 170. The little plastic outlet there is 138, 142, and up here where it's coming right out of the machine, 185 degrees. Okay, now we can look at our flashing. See over here it's 85, 88, 80, and back here it's 75, 77, 78. Okay, so what I'm surmising is happening on the flashing is that the heat coming off of this is warming that flashing up a little bit more. The instructions are pretty vague with these things. All I'm here to tell you is this is what I did, and I hope you be careful with how you do it. So I think we've got our problem solved just by we increased the air gap around it. I think part of what was happening was because of my thick floor, I had a cavity there that was trapping the heat. Down below the bus, I can literally reach up and put my hand on the flashings all the way around when it's been running full blast. What you don't want to do is touch that exhaust pipe, because up at the outlet it's 375, and down by where it's going out the side of the bus it's like 175, 200 if it's going full blast. But the awesome thing is now it's down in its idle phase and really all you can hear is the tick of the fuel pump.
And the cool thing that I'm noticing too is all you got to do is put your hands in front of these ducts to know if it's even running or not, because there's always constant heat coming out.
So that's the one thing the thing that I was not aware of with the diesel heater is this is set for 23 Celsius. So it kicked on and it went, full power until it reaches 23 Celsius. And then it kicks down into low.
And that's about 72, 73 degrees in here.
Right. But it doesn't shut off. So if it warms up outside and you have this still on, it's still going to run on low. You have to turn it off.
Yeah.
However, if the temperature drops back down to 22, it'll kick back up into high and bring it back to 23 and then go back into idle mode. Unless you turn it off, it keeps going.
Yeah, and we are loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, it has really solved
Yeah, because it's getting cold here, guys, 28 at night. And also what we love is now we have redundancy. If propane went shortage or whatever, and we could get diesel, we can use that. If diesel's in shortage or whatever, we can do propane. Then we have the electric ceramic heaters too, and the mini split, so we got lots of options. Anyways, I hope any of that information is helpful. I'm not a professional. I don't know. What you need to do, I'm just sharing what I've done and telling you please be careful and safe and enjoy your time. Thanks for watching.